This video has been made to discuss the basic concepts associated with customer lifetime value, and on your screen you see marketing memo calculating customer lifetime value. So this page has been taken from the textbook on marketing management by Philip Kotler and Kevin Lane Keller. And as it is mentioned in the beginning that researchers and practitioners have approached CLV or customer lifetime value calculation in many ways, but here what is recommended to a student of MBA who is in the initial period of his program is use of this formula, which is very basic one, and it has been given by Columbia's Don Lehman and Harvard's Sunil Gupta. So while discussing any formula, we need to get into the psyche of formula building. So here first we need to see what all things are there in numerator, and each of those terms we need to get into detail so that when we are using those parameters very clearly it is there in our mind. So first is price paid by a consumer at time t. So we need to understand the things for which consumer is going to pay the price. So for that we can use the another figure taken from the textbook only, where customers perceived value has been taken into account. So total customer benefit is there. Parallel to that, total customer cost has to be calculated. So several benefits are going to be there which customer will be receiving from the product, and Kotler's definition these days will be categorizing product benefit at 3 levels. So first is M1 level, which is physical level, then M2 level, which is psychological, and M3, that is social or environmental. Then each and every customer is going to receive some service either directly or indirectly, and then some personnel benefit will be there. That means human resource related help is going to be there, and it is going to help him in image building. So if you see the list of benefit, what it says that there are direct benefits which as a consumer or as a customer I am going to receive from the product. Many a times product benefit will be limiting itself to functionality. Then services benefits are going to be there, where fundamentally it means that what all additional help a company is going to provide me through its services. If for example if even we are talking about FMCG product, if any problem is there, then whether any complaint related services are there. If I am participating in the contest, then those services are available. So services related benefit will be there, and then personnel benefit will be there, where it is going to help me in reducing my HR cost. So we all have our own HR cost during our daytime and throughout our life. we 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 need to carry out various things, whether through the product, that personal benefit, my HR cost will get reduced or not, that has to be seen. But at the same time, I will be paying money for the functionality which I am receiving. Then my time cost is going to be there, my search cost is there, where I am going to get the product. I will be spending some time to buy that, and energy also it is going to consume, both psychological energy as well as the physical energy. So the cost of physical energy is computed as energy cost, and the cost of psychological energy is computed as psychological cost. So customer perceived value will be dependent on up to what extent customer benefit has been received, and in comparison what kind of money has been spent, either directly, like by paying the price to the for the product. If 1.5 paise product was there, that is the cost. But if I have spent time, so time cost is quite relative, it will be varying from person to person. And then energy cost will be dependent on what kind of vehicle I am using and what other fuel I am consuming, whether I am using e-vehicle or I am using cycle. So all those things will be coming as cost. So if I am using cycle and I go to buy candy over there, and I feel that it is helping me in my muscle building, so in that case I am reducing my energy cost otherwise which I would have spent on bike, and I am enhancing the benefit. Here it's a kind of service benefit. So health service benefit one is going to receive if cycling is engaged over there. So that means what we are saying, that consumers calculation is not always going to be straightforward. It depends, the net value creation, the net perceived value creation will be dependent on what all experiences he has undergone. And many a times the claim is that the benefit created by the product, both psychological and physical, if you take together, and different kinds of psychological benefit we talk about, and social benefit we talk about along with that, then it is going to be much more than the straight away monetary cost or the price paid by a consumer. So there we will say that consumer surplus is there, and within that only price point is going to be fixed. So when students are at this stage in their MBA program, they are not aware of various methods of price setting, but in their economics courses they are introduced to the idea of consumer surplus. So it's very important to understand that value has been created, and large amount of value has been created. That is why surplus exists, and accordingly price has been set. So price has been there is PT, the price which is going to be paid by consumer. Then there is direct cost of servicing the customer. In different ways it's going to get calculated and will come into the picture, whether it is your office related cost, or whether it is telecall cost or email cost. Everything is going to be part of the servicing cost. So servicing cost, if I am a marketing professional, if I am a management professional, then I will be calculating it at the level of consumer, and there it is going to be put as the form of CT. Then discount rate or cost of capital for the firm will be there. So So weighted cost of capital will be there for all capital used. Opportunity has gone, that is why interest has to be paid, and that is discount rate or cost of capital for the firm, where the capital related uh, rate need to be incorporated. Then towards the end you find that capital T is there, which is time horizon for estimating CLV. So there, when we are calculating CLV, RT and AC also need to be considered, and AC is the cost of acquisition, like what all expenses have been done on pre-selling, how many times you wanted to sell laptop to a customer, how many times do you approached, what all, how many calls were made, how many messages were sent, and what was the cost of marketing communication. So those things will be coming into the picture. So, and that is before the customer comes into the domain. After that, whatever we are doing, for whatever service we are providing to the customer, that becomes a direct cost of servicing the customer. But the toughest or the most tricky thing is the estimation of RT actually over here, probability of customer repeat buying or being alive at time T. This is the parameter on which a lot of marketing thinking is applied, and probably this is one of the most interesting indicator over here or parameter over here, on which a lot of marketing focus resides and many theories will be revolving around. Like price paid by a consumer at time, I linked it with the economics theory of consumer surplus, and then there will be ways, considerations, pricing strategy related considerations. Then cost has to be calculated, which are rather simpler calculations, but the most interesting and joyful part, which a scholar of marketing sees in all this, is probability of customer repeat buying. So repeat purchase, many a times it is computed on the basis of behavioral data. Like economists have been using, statisticians have been using a lot of forecasting model. So there, if behavioral data is there, where one asks that in last 30 months how many times a consumer has bought repeatedly my soap or my shampoo, then accordingly the probability is going to be set for that customer whose likelihood of buying my product is new. So that is on the basis of historical data. Sometimes historical data is not there because it is new product and one time consumer has bought, new soap has come into the market, and then what is the likelihood that customer is going to do the repeat buying. Or if we are talking about services, then whether airline purchase will be repeated, hotel will be revisited, Zomato food order will be revisited, will be redone, Swiggy order will be repeated. All those things are going to be there. So if historical data is not there, in that case, many a times other indicators are looked into. Some of those indicators might be satisfaction, the current satisfaction with the product, and satisfaction only will be defining whether one becomes interested, not exactly whether one will buy, his interest into the product will get defined. Then not only as a customer I am satisfied, because and also whether other customers who have consumed the product, whether they too are satisfied. So if they too are satisfied, then they are likely to create positive word of mouth, and in turn it's going to impact my probability of buying it next time. So very often in marketing research industry, stated responses are taken, whether you will be interested in buying it again or not, what is your probability of buying it again on 5-point scale, 7-point scale, 3-point scale, 10-point scale, depending on kinds of customer and the context, because product context is going to be very very important. Like direct cost of servicing for soap is going to be very very different vis-a-vis the servicing for airlines customer or hotel customer. So product category, whatever marketing discussion we do and theoretical developments happen, there very often product category context becomes very very important. And that is why I think many theories evolve in the context of product categories, and later on when they get generalized for other product context, then those things become general. So CLV theory, which might have emerged in the context of services, now it has been taken forward to the domain of products as well. So churn, telecom services, customer churn is very high, so retention becomes a challenge. So given all this, it's very interesting to explore the probability of customer repeat buying, and there are many ways to do it, which we will talk about in other videos. Thank you.